Welcome once again, everybody. This is the New Spanish Academy, another freestyle Spanish lesson. La nueva Academia de Español is here, it's back, and today's phrase is, or expression is, hacer el papel. Hacer el papel. This is a freestyle lesson where I freestyle the lesson for you, but we had some technical errors in the headquarters studios, so it's already pre-written, a couple of pages here. So we have here, hacer el papel. So hacer el papel, literally, we have to do. El means the, papel means paper. All right? Now, I want to show you here that papel means paper, but papel also means roll. Not as in a roll of paper, because that would be like this, but as in a role, an acting role, when you're playing the role. So, the phrase hacer el papel is more alluding to playing the role. All right? You are playing the role of that historical character. All right? Hacer el papel de una persona. Right? Hacer el papel. But normally, when we are using this amazing expression, we are actually referring to somebody that is acting a fool. All right, hacer el papel. And sometimes it's not intentionally for fun. It's sometimes he's just embarrassing himself, right? Estás haciendo el papel. Oh my God, you are making a fool of yourself. All right. So, all right. So see here, somebody might say to the. All right, somebody might say to the other person something like. Let's change the dimensions here, something like, so we have here, hacer el papel, and then the person will say, you are making a fool. Estás, like this, haciendo, all right, because haciendo is what would be in English in, ing. Hacer is to do, like here, haciendo, doing, making, in this case, acting, haciendo el papel. You are making the paper, you are making the role, you are playing a fool. Estás haciendo el papel. So if you are embarrassing yourself, and or you have a friend that's embarrassing himself, or family, or you are just watching somebody being interviewed, or whatever, you can say that person is haciendo el papel at this moment. Está haciendo el papel. Está, if it's a third person, meaning I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to he, talking about him or about her, then it's está. But if I'm talking to you, it's estás haciendo el papel. All right? Está haciendo el papel. He's making the role. What role? Everybody assumes. Sometimes you can finish with el papel de the role of, you can say a fool, finish with a fool. All right, you can go and look up how to say a fool in Spanish. All right, now sometimes people don't say the word fully, and what they do instead is you say estás haciendo un papelón. You are doing the big paper. All right. So sometimes we add endings to words that make it sound like a big thing. Carro, car, carrote, the big car. All right. Grande, big, grandissimo, very big, or grandote. Okay. You have heard the word bellissima. It's from bella in Italian. Bellissima, very beautiful. In Spanish is the same. Bella, bellissima. All right. So, estás haciendo un papelón, all right? Un papelón, all right? You can also say, ¿qué papelón que han hecho? For example, you are cheering for your home country, you are cheering for your national team, and they are playing the World Cup, and they are playing terribly, and you're saying, ¿qué papelón? What? They're playing like fools, they're embarrassing themselves. So in that case, we would say, están haciendo el papel. You don't need to finish el papel de. You know the role of what? You don't need to finish because it's already assumed, right? All right, so let's see here. All right, and if it's they, están, all right? Ellos están, they are. Él está, he is, and tú estás haciendo el papel. All right, now very simple phrase and keep it short. 10 minutes, we have it like that. Tú estás haciendo el papel, él está haciendo el papel, ellos están haciendo el papel. And then you might wanna end by saying something like qué vergüenza. How embarrassing, all right? Qué vergüenza means how embarrassing. All right, so thank you very much. If you are now gonna do some street work, that means you are gonna be out in the street, not doing homework. You are just gonna maybe have a look at somebody making an embarrassment of themselves, and you're gonna be like, está haciendo el papel. Él está haciendo el papel. Now, as usual, when I teach, I either imagine what questions you might have, or I just come up with something that might be good to know. All right. Qué vergüenza. How embarrassing. All right. Qué vergüenza. Because we know that embarrassing. If you think about the word embarrassing, I don't want to confuse you. In Spanish, people will say embarazada, embarazado. Embarazada in Spanish actually means a girl that is pregnant. So if you say I feel embarazada, you are gonna actually say you feel pregnant. So let's leave it. Let's not confuse. Vergüenza means embarrassing, but sometimes in Spanish we say me da. You know me da, as in me da frío. You know, it gives me, or I feel cold. Frío. I feel warm. Me da calor. Me da miedo. I feel afraid. And we can also say me da vergüenza. Me da vergüenza. I feel embarrassed. But if you're looking at somebody else making a fool of themselves, we say in Spanish, me da vergüenza ajena. That means second-hand embarrassment. I feel second-hand embarrassment looking at that. I feel almost embarrassed myself just looking at it, all right? Even though it has nothing to do with me, I'm outside of the picture, I'm watching the movie, or I'm watching something play out, and it's so embarrassing that I even feel like, ugh, you know? So, qué vergüenza, how embarrassing, me da vergüenza ajena. Ajena means something that is not yours, okay? I translate it as second-hand embarrassment, but it doesn't mean second-hand, but it means something that is not yours. So if you're wearing something that's not yours, it is ajeno. Or somebody might say, don't touch things that are ajenas, that are not yours. Okay? All right, so we got some phrase. Tú estás haciendo el papel, playing the role. We assume is playing a fool or embarrassing yourself. And then you can say, I feel second-hand embarrassment. Me da vergüenza ajena. Qué vergüenza. How embarrassing. Ellos están haciendo el papel. The team plays so bad. They are looking like fools. All right? So, go do your street work. Thank you very much. And we see us in the next video. Nos vemos.